Welcome to the first Backpack Forum. Today we're interviewing candidates for our mock election that we have here on the Originator team at Manchester Middle School. And I'm Mr. Nick Marinacci, and I'm the CBG teacher, and I will be the moderator for this forum. And I'm going to introduce you shortly to the candidates and their party. Okay. Welcome, candidates. Let me discuss the forum that we're going to follow today. I shall ask each of you the same questions on the economy, education, environment, immigration, war, including Iraq, Afghanistan, and the war on terror, and social issues. The questions will be asked in the same order and manner for each of the 5 teams running for office. No team shall know the questions in advance, and only prior knowledge they'll have is the general issue under which they apply to. The candidates and the students in the audience are advised not to discuss the questions or answers with students from the other classes, so as to preserve the authenticity and spontaneity of the candidate responses. The entire series of the forum shall be available on YouTube at a later date. Good morning. Hello.
Good morning, Mr. Marinacci.
Please state your names and the political party that you represent in this mock election.
I am Savannah Lane. And I'm Brian Walter in the American Environmentalist Party.
Now that you've been introduced, I'd like to begin asking a question about what the American electorate has stated as the most important issues at hand, the economy. What do you feel is the major cause of economic crisis that engulfs America today?
Well, I feel that the most thing that caused it was probably the housing market dying and stock markets and people projecting things that might not have come true.
What do you specifically do to plan? What do you plan to do to deal with this problem?
Well, we plan to reinstate down payment on houses and make sure that the housing market is circulating. And also, we plan to make tax cuts for those who are making less than $300,000, but also keep the rest of the economy and the rest of the people and middle economy people the same as tax cuts.
How shall you raise the revenues to meet the cost of this plan?
We will try to raise more money, and also wane our individual.
I'm sorry, and I know this is not. I just want to be clear. How will you raise this money? What is your plan for raising this money to help solve these problems? What would that plan be?
Well, the idea in our platform is to start spending less money to support the war when we have such a surplus in Iraq right now.
So you would cut defense spending?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, is there any plan for tax increases?
No.
All right. Let's turn to education. What do you feel is the greatest problem with today's education, and how shall you address it?
I believe that the most important thing is we need more opportunities for those that are disabled, and also just all students in general. They need more opportunities to choose from, and we will develop a program for public or private pre-kindergarten, and also we will have online coursework developed for students.
Do you support school vouchers? If so, why so? If not, why not?
By vouchers, what do you mean?
For the audience, so those in the audience that aren't aware, vouchers are the government partial subsidy giving parents the option to, and it's under No Child Left Behind, when school is failing, the parents, if the school continues not to make improvements, the parents are given a money and a voucher which will help defray the cost of tuition for a school of their choice, be it private, public, or third party. Generally, that's what a voucher does. It's used for partial or whole payment in a school of the parent's choice.
Well, I think that we do support the voucher system, because if the school in question is not up to par to say, the parents should be able to let their kids not go to a less than good school.
They should be able to have the same equal opportunities of education as the other students.
So you support this component as in No Child Left Behind?
Well, I believe that the No Child Left Behind grant is a good start, but also needs to be redesigned so that, honestly, no child is left behind.
Thank you. Turning to the environment. And I understand the name of your party is the
American Environmentalist.
Environmentalist Party. What is your position on global warming and whether or not human activity is responsible for it?
Well, I believe that it's partly human activity is responsible, but it could be just part of natural occurrence. But also, the CVCs that are emitted from humans could be decreased more so than it is now.
The human activity that you say can be regulated, do you think it can have any measurable impact on reducing global warming? Or natural forces, do they play a greater part?
I think definitely humans can decrease their emissions of greenhouse gases, CVCs, etc., and that it is not very hard to do. And all we need to do is have a certain mindset on how to do it.
All right, then what changes are required in order to make an impact, in your opinion?
Well, less pollutants. We could have different cars, and also like use geothermal energy and hydro energy, and also wind turbines.
Okay, what is your position on nuclear energy, which doesn't release emissions into the atmosphere?
To help the environment, I believe that it is.
All right. The issue of immigration. Currently, it's estimated that between 12 and 20 million illegal or undocumented aliens are in the United States. What problems does this create, and how do you plan to deal with it, or those problems?
Well, it creates problems for those paying taxes that are here or born here legally, and also it raises taxes, because if immigrants get sick and need health care, then those who are paying taxes need to pay for them.
Also, it's a real impact on the schools, having to teach more than one language to let students understand what they are teaching.
So, citing these problems that you have identified, what is your plan for dealing with those problems?
Well, we were going to keep the limiting quota the same, but also make it possibly an easier access into the country so that we could decrease illegal immigration and make sure that everyone has a chance to come here legally.